Here's the video. It is a wall of presidents there near the Rose Garden. Everything's normal, right? You're saying, okay, that's nice. Taking a look, you got President Obama. There's President Trump. And look who we have here for President Biden. It is the auto pen, not his picture, but the auto pen.
Why would they do that, surely?
So I just found out the trick that if you clasp together a ring finger and a thumb and take a breath, inhale, you'll notice that you're inhaling into your lungs. But if you clasp index finger and a thumb and inhale, you'll notice that you're inhaling into your belly.
Okay, that one I'm not sure if it is true. My friends, all for entertainment.
He lost his shit seeing a zebra. So let's try that again. What is that thing? Oh, buddy. Oh my god.
The host is scared to see his
Oh,
cousin.
please don't do this. Oh, buddy. It's just a zebra.
They have family issues, baby.
See, just a zebra.
Those are two good vibes animals. Actually, they are relatives, both of them.
Someone told me to watch this clip.
I'm about to say something crazy, but I want y'all to hear me out. Apparently, Mary was a virgin who gave birth to Jesus. Okay. Apparently, Mary's mother was not a virgin, but was an older woman who was not meant to be able to give birth, who gave birth to Mary without a male through the same process of giving birth. Apparently. And this process is what we call parthenogenesis. Greek word that quite literally means virgin birth. Partheno means virgin, genesis means birth. That's how we get virgin birth. From a scientific standpoint, all it means is that a woman fertilized an egg without a male. But what is important is that because she fertilized this egg without a male, she is quite literally birthing a version of herself, which is not an exact replica technically, but it's her DNA put back together in a different way, but still 100% of her DNA. Which is why when a woman produces by way of parthenogenesis, she can only reproduce XX chromosomes. Meaning, a woman who has a virgin birth can only give birth to a woman. Which brings me to my final question. If Jesus is real, how is he a man?
Yeah. Wow, my friends. Little knowledge is very dangerous.
Men are so cute because they're always finding new hobbies and new things to do with their time. I was just out here minding my own business with my Nutri-Grain bar. And this is what I came across.
Guy!
In the middle of
Run!
the road.
Look at this good vibe soul.
I'm in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. And that's happening. I'm talking really quietly because it's weirdly quiet out here. But super adorable. I'm thinking about going over and talking to them. Normally something like this would scare me, but I've been through a lot lately, so this is pretty tame.
At first, I was scared. But it's like these people are putting on the same uniform.
What are you guys
Only
doing
that
out here?
this one, the one she has is for girls. Or what do you think, child of God, could be going on here?
Ah!
This could be one big prank for the whole universe. Okay. Look at this. These are probably friends playing a game here. These ones know this good vibe soul. Or they're acting.
I don't know why I didn't think that was as weird as it is before.
That one I have a feeling it is not true.
All of it is real. Everything is real. Vampires? Yep. Unicorns? Yep. Werewolves? Yep. Demons and devils and angels and hells and all of it is real. All of the mythical creatures are real, but they're not real in the way that you think they're real. They're real in the spirit. Right? A vampire explains someone's inner essence. right? They're not literally what you think of when you see vampires on TV. They're vampires in the spirit, though, right? A unicorn is a mythical creature that has a pure heart, right? You see those in real life. It's referring to their spirit, right? You see people who have old souls. They're werewolves, right? It's explaining something in the spirit. It's analogous. It helps you understand energy. The problem is people are scared of it.
This good vibes child of God knows so much, at the same time she still knows so little. It's amazing. An unidentified fireball in the sky. Look at this, my friends. Wow, 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 wow. Lots of things have been happening in the skies, and it makes me wonder, what could really be going on? Could this be science or what's up? Because now, like, this one is extremely strange. These fireballs, where did they come from? You see what's even more amazing or unbelievable from this side of the world is that here things are just cool. People are running normally, nothing strange goes on around here, and every time we take a look at these videos, we're always seeing strange things. I'm surprised. What's going on, children of God? Wow, guy.
Viado, vamos achar a linha dela, viado?
Não, você é doido.
De algum lugar, viado. Não, eu vou pegar e levar pra casa, viado.
Tem linha não, menino.
Lógico que tem. É, é via Bluetooth.
Deve ser igual.
Look, it's like there's an ambulance in the sky.
Dear Africans, after my last post, I have to tell you I'm pretty disappointed because I saw how many of you still believe we are living some kind of beautiful, wealthy, happy life. But listen carefully. What you see is not the truth. What you see is a mask they built for you to admire. Yes, they keep us with houses and cars. Yes, they keep our streets looking clean and our shops looking full. But it's not because they care for us. It's only because they need us numb enough not to fight back. They need us distracted, sedated, believing we are free while they extract from us just as they extract from you. The only reason they let us appear wealthy is so we don't realize we are slaves to the system too. Slaves to debt, to bills, to poisoned food and water, to endless advertising, to dopamine cycles that keep us scrolling instead of waking. From the outside, you see a beautiful dream. From the inside, it feels like slow suffocation. We are not living in paradise. We are trapped in a system of illusions, a prison designed to look comfortable. So when you envy what we have, remember this: our wealth is not freedom, it's anesthesia. And we are telling you now, do not chase this lie. Don't.
Oh, my friends, please live the good life full of good vibes and be kind. Guys, what are those? Are those planes or what?
There's an urban legend out there that there is a drug that can age you 30 years overnight. The fountain of aging. It can disintegrate your tendons. Your muscles will atrophy, which means they just disintegrate. The collagen in your skin destroyed. It can affect the discs in your back and your neck. It can burn out all the small fiber nerves in your skin, make you feel like you've been burnt in a campfire for months on end. It's neurotoxic so that it can make you psychotic and you see snowfall in your vision. Some people lose their sight, tinnitus in their ears. But this is not an urban legend. You can get this drug from your doctor with hardly a word of warning from the pharmacist. It's called a fluoroquinolone antibiotic, and it's called fluoroquinolone toxicity. And I wish that it was an urban legend, but it's been around since the 80s, causing damage worldwide.
Oh, okay. That's new stuff we are hearing today here. Look at this. This is in Houston. At night they saw a long black hole chasing two things in the sky. What could they be? Or maybe they are just doing some exercise, some military training, or what could be going on there? Strange times.
If this ever happens to you, that you get close to one of these, be very, very careful, because at that moment in time, the electromagnetic field in that plasma ball is so intense, it will tend to put your conscious mind into neutral, and your subconscious takes over. And the subconscious is the thing we normally seem to try to suppress, because it's very wild, it has a mind of its own, it does things that we don't really like doing in the conscious state. And also the subconscious mind has tremendous power to create semi-physical objects when it's turned loose, or even totally physical objects. And so if you get in close relationship with a plasma ball, and your conscious mind tends to be put into neutral because of the electromagnetic charge, what will happen is the subconscious will tend to interact with the plasma ball and often will create what appears to be a semi-human humanoid. And because the subconscious mind isn't able to handle fine detail very well, the humanoid figure will often only maybe have no fingers, or maybe just 2 or 3 fingers, sometimes no feet. Invariably, again, because it can't handle things like buttons, it will have the figure appear in a one-piece jumpsuit. So again, this has nothing to do with extraterrestrials. It's a perfectly natural phenomenon. But you have to be very careful, because you've now given an intelligence to that plasma ball. And the plasma ball then sometimes, in conjunction with the subconscious mind, will tend to make you do very dangerous things. And this has happened on numerous occasions with people. So be very careful of these in an earthquake. They often happen. And in fact, lots of people see light in various forms during an earthquake, and it's the ionized air coming up, often in various colors. Granite, you see, is composed of very, very tiny quartz crystals. When you crush a quartz crystal, it gives off a very high voltage momentarily. When you have movement along the seismic fault line, all these crystals get crushed, and you'll have about 100,000 volts of electricity generated in that fault line. That causes an ionization of the air, which then rises to the surface. And if there's any humidity in the air as well, what you will see is a large glowing ball of light, which is plasma. The reason you can see it then is because it has the water vapor around it. And the water vapor in daylight will refract light in such a manner that the ball appears to be metallic, usually aluminum or gold in color. And so many people confuse this with a UFO. If there's no high humidity in the environment at the time, you won't see the glowing ball in daylight, but it will show up on a film. Now, when that ball is generated, and it can be anything from the size maybe of a baseball up to 100 feet in diameter. Quite often it's orange in color, and often it will have colored lights moving around it. This is a totally natural phenomenon. No consciousness as such, as we perceive it, is involved. And what it will do is start moving around because it's attracted to other localized electromagnetic fields, and then suddenly it will take off at very, very high speed towards the horizon. And the reason for that is attracted either to a microwave relay tower, or it's attracted to a water tower, because water has a very, very, very high attraction for etheric energy, and so it's attracted towards the etheric energy in the water. And so don't let that kind of phenomenon confuse you. Now, and incidentally, sometimes this is not in the shape of a sphere. Sometimes it's in the shape of a cigar. And it can be actually anything up to about a half a mile long. We call that a gorgon. And again, it will snake around, and it'll look like a UFO.
Wow, okay, that good vibes guy thinks that is normal. You tell us what you think about it. Look at this machine here. Guy! Wow! Ooh! Wow! Guy! Ah! Ah! Wow! Wow! My God!
Let me tell you all about a coincidence, and you all tell me if it's as wild as I think it is. Back in the 90s, when I was in high school, I was an extra on a couple of films, and one in particular was Snake Eyes, a film that starred Nicolas Cage. And do you want to know where I was an extra on that film? At the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Okay? Do you want to know the plot of that movie? It involves an assassination of a politician named Charlie Kirkland. He was shot. The name of the person who shot Charlie Kirkland was named Lincoln Tyler. The tagline for the movie Snake Eyes: believe everything except your eyes. Does anyone else find that odd?
Okay, that is strange.
China's consumption is huge. $7 trillion in 2023-2024. That is more than 3 times India's. And remember, China has 1.4 billion people, but so does India. In fact, India has a little bit more. But if you consume China's consumption and India's consumption, that isn't even half of America's consumption. That's how much of the world's consumer base is in the United States. $18.8 trillion. But let's take an even deeper look. You would have to add China, Germany, India, the UK, France, Brazil, Italy, and Mexico's consumption to match what the United States spends in 1 year. Another freaking crazy way to look at it is that the United States consumes the equivalent of 3.5 trillion people in some of the most developed economies on the planet. And remember, we only have a population of about 330 million. And the reason why I am mentioning this to all of you is that this consumption, this huge strength, is also a major weakness that the people could use if they are unhappy with the current system. And I don't mean the administration, I mean the system as is. The only way the system does any real changes is if consumption will be affected. And you could see this on the micro scale with Disney. Remember, they suspended Jimmy Kimmel. They fired him. They were going to take him off the air. But because the consumers protested and started canceling their Disney subscriptions, Disney caved. Jimmy Kimmel's got his job back. That is a profound example of consumer strength. And remember, we are the consumers. And it isn't just Disney and a couple of other companies that are this vulnerable to the consumers, which is you and me. It is all of the companies. And who are the primary funders of the politicians that aren't actually representing us? Yes, these companies. So if you want your politicians to change, you have to start scaring these companies with your lack of consumption. The system, as it is, wants you to protest on the street so they can make an example of you. They also want you to keep voting. It doesn't even matter how red or blue it is, because in the end, these guys are both different sides of the same coin. Don't believe me? Just look at the average tax rate of the top 1%, Citizens United, healthcare reform, and how even though we did have, at times, very potent Democratic presidents who at some point had the House and the Senate with them on the blue side, they still couldn't get what they wanted done. Gee, I wonder why. It wasn't just because of the GOP. It was because the very wealthy will always have their interests put first. And what is the greatest concern of the wealthy? That you keep consuming and keep the money printing machine going. You stop consuming, you stop everything. If you keep consuming, you will get mediocre candidates on both sides of the aisle. You stop consuming, and these guys will do an overhaul to make sure they have candidates that can actually represent you to go back out into the market and keep consumption up. And it doesn't even have to be a huge drop in consumption. The 2008 recession saw a 2.3, a 2.5% drop in consumption, and you saw all of the bailouts and stimulus that was released. And then, of course, there's what happened with COVID, which was a 20% drop in about 3 months, and we saw what happened. Now, I'm not saying don't buy anything ever, because that's ridiculous, that's impossible. But if every American, on average, dropped their consumption by 2 or 5%, that would be the most loud and potent form of protest. And even the big wig system would be listening to us. So no, it's not seize the means of production. It is seize the means of consumption, your consumption. But the question is, are you willing to deal with the consequences of this kind of protest? Because it would be a little bit messy. People would start to lose their jobs, and there would be a great deal of economic downturn. But it really is the only way to ensure some kind of change happens in our favor and not the wealthiest. I am the Geo Husar, and help me get this going. Thanks for
If
watching.
that information is true, my friends, then it is quite interesting.
Have you ever seen the clip of Obama giving Biden the Medal of Freedom? Doesn't look like he's very excited. In fact, he looks terrified. Now I'm going to let you watch this, and I just want you to look at his face. He doesn't look like a man holding back tears of joy or excitement. He looks like a man that's terrified and about to lose his soul, perhaps. What's this Medal of Freedom really about? Is someone being let free into him? I'm going to show you another clip after this that kind of goes along with what I'm saying. Like I said, he doesn't look like he's excited. He looks terrified. Now, I know we live in a spiritual world, and I can't say for sure what's going on here, but I have my suspicions. And I want you to watch this next clip, like I said, and also look. That's original Joe.
Wow. Okay, our good vibes friends here always comes up with interesting information. But look at this here now. Wow, wow. Guys. Look at this plane. Wow. Look at what it is doing to the water. Guy, and the plane is running on a boat. And on the boat there are other planes. Which country's flag is that? Well, these things they are always mind-blowing, my friends. Yeah? Look at the size of this boat. Look at the size of the car on the boat. And now imagine the size of the boat on water. And it is also This is a plane landing. Wonderful athletes. Eh? Now how can you explain this? Humans are incredible. Look at what they have built. Wow. For the people that know about Jesse, that one looks unbelievable, crazy. It looks good vibes. Hey, which one is it? Wow, humans are amazing, my friends. That thing, what you have just seen, imagine it has been built and made by humans. Wow, it's crazy. That thing is like it can't sink. Unbelievable, my friends. Wow, lots of interesting things we have seen together today. Some of these things I see here, myself, I always have difficulties sometimes believing them. You see? Because they are way above the things that happens here. From this side of the world, my friends, people are cool. Like right now, people are in the farm. Others are out there playing with animals. If not that, doing firewood and jungle stuff. But in English lands, it's always surprising things going on there. Can't understand what really happens. Now, my friend, because you've watched up to this far, we'll share something together for our souls. Some powerful words from the book of wisdom. And here, what it tells us today. From the book of Zechariah, chapter 3, verse 6. This is what it says. So, he said to me, this is the word of the Lord. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord Almighty. Wonderful. This point you have reached, my friend. It's good vibes, and because of the help of the Lord. That was an incredible word you've just read. Let's give thanks together and end the show. Thank you, Father, for the wonderful time you've given us today. Thank you for your precious child that had joined us, Father. Thank you for their lives. Thank you, dear Lord, Father, for the blessings you've passed to us today. Thank you, dear Lord Father, for your love in our lives. Thank you, dear Lord Father, for all the people in this world. We give thanks to you for everything. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Till next time, child of God, peace, love, and good vibes be with you. I've been your host and friend, Y311H. Till next time, bye bye. Peace. Hit that super thanks notification button, subscribe if you haven't, and share the videos with friends and family.